Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Everyday Trader. This is Greg Jensen here, the CEO of OptionsANIMal. Glad you're tuning in today. I'm going to do a solo recording today. I'll do another one with Eric here in a couple of days. But one of the things I thought I would do is start to give a few of you who aren't already part of our OptionsANIMal community just kind of an overview of what it is we do at OptionsANIMal. And I'll keep these relatively short. But the main thing I wanted to cover today was what we do to teach people to be disciplined in the market and how they can have what I would call a no fear approach to the stock market. So let me actually let's do this real quick. I'm going to share a PowerPoint with you just to kind of give you a couple of pieces. There we go. Let me actually make that full screen. Okay. So what this is, what we do in our education is we teach people how to trade. Now, in part of that teaching process is we actually share every week real trades from our portfolios. We don't do these as investment advice. We teach you, and we've been doing this for about 12 and a half years. We teach you through showing you how we react to trades, and these are very interactive inside. And up to date, we've sent out 657 trades. 591 of them have closed for a win. Now, there are 51 that have closed for loss, and there are currently 15 open still. The average return per trade on average is 16%. That does include the losers. What that equates to is a 92% win rate. Now, that's not because we have a crystal ball and we know where the market's going. It's simply that we're systematic in how we approach risk. And this is that system that I want to share with you. And I'm not going to go into detail today. In fact, I think I'll create a series of videos to go into detail to each one of these 6 steps that we call the OptionsANIMal method of investing. And the first step of that is we call the due diligence step. That is learning to master fundamental analysis of both an individual company as well as the overall big picture macro story that can and does drive markets. Of course, that's what we're seeing right now. It's what we saw through all of 2022, because even though fundamentals were really good for a lot of companies, from Apple to Google to Disney, you name it, last year, there were a handful of really good companies that had really good earnings throughout the year, but yet the overall market, because it was pessimistic, we had increasing interest rates, and some of those macro factors caused those stocks to go down as well. So fundamental analysis is an important part, as is technical analysis, being able to read a chart, and then, of course, market sentiment and how that can have an impact on an individual trade. Step 2 is, once I've determined my direction, I then want to analyze the trade possibilities. What can I do to take advantage of what I just decided in step 1? So if I said, I think that, Apple is going to go bullish based on, a certain parameter that I did in my step 1 due diligence, well, what trade do I do? There are multiple different ways to trade Apple bullishly, and it's going to vary depending on time. It's going to vary on volatility. It's going to vary on the amount of capital you're using, your risk preference. So there are a lot of things that go into play here in analyzing the different trade possibilities and what might fit what you feel is your best approach to the market. Step 3 then is to structure it properly. I know this one seems obvious, but you would be surprised how many YouTube geniuses out there teach people how to structure a bull put and say, this is the way to do a put credit spread. And it's completely structured with max risk, or there is a correct way to structure a trade, particularly when you are structuring the trade to fit your end goal throughout this method. And that is ultimately to trade that 90% success rate that I'm talking about. Once I've structured the trade, I then determine my exit points. Now, notice I haven't even placed the trade yet. It's important for me to define what I want out of the trade before I ever click the place trade button in my brokerage platform. And the reason why that's important is it helps control emotion, particularly the emotions of fear and greed. So exit points help me do that, both a primary exit point, meaning what do I want out of a trade if the stock does what I think it's going to do? And that can vary, right? But it's important for you to still identify it before I ever go into the trade. And then, of course, the secondary exit is, well, what do I do if I was wrong? I thought Apple was going to go bullish. I went and placed a bullish trade and it fell off a cliff. Then what? What happens most often is if you don't define these exits before you trade, you get impacted by emotion, particularly two emotions, fear and greed. So we'll teach you how to control those. Next step in the process to actually then go place the trade. Now, this is, again, a really simple process, but don't skip it. Meaning, don't just breeze through it. Make sure there's one key thing that happens when you place a trade, and that is read your order ticket that comes up. Make sure you're buying what you think you're buying. Oftentimes we get in hurries with our trading and we make a mistake here. Simple, but don't skip it. Now, the last step is the one that's really unique to us here at Options Animal, and that is how to adjust the trade if needed. And that's how we've attained the success rate that we have had over the years of 90% plus trades actually returning a profit. It's not that they all return profit out of the gate. No one's got that good of predictive skills in the market. But what it is it's rather a change in the methodology of how you view the market. So many people, in my opinion, are dogmatic about the market. They go in and they say, I'm going to place a trade and I'm bullish. And if I'm wrong, I just cut my losses. And don't get me wrong, stop losses are better than nothing. But I don't like stop losses per se, because I think there's a better way. I think if you have the mindset of I'm willing to allow myself to change what my expectations were, and yes, maybe I thought Apple was bullish, but something's happened and now it's bearish. Well, rather than walking away from the trade at a loss, why not make an adjustment? And that's what this step 6 process is ultimately just following through on your exit points you determine in step 4. So that's it this week. Yeah, that's it today, I guess. I'll probably be doing another one of these recordings with Eric this week that'll go into a little more depth. But I wanted to start to put this out to start to show some of you that there is a method to approach markets, just like we had in 2022, and just like we had in 2008, and just like we had in 2000 to 2002, when we have long structured bearish trends that are in place for a reason. There is still a way to trade it that controls risk, that allows you to sleep at night. And in fact, every successful investor that I have ever met over the long term, whether that be individual investor, hedge fund managers, big portfolio managers, mutual fund traders, every single successful one I've met is methodical. They're systematic in how they approach the market. And this is the system right here that we teach inside of Options Animal that helps our students acquire the confidence in their trading, the more consistent success rate, and ultimately, my favorite thing is the ability to sleep at night when markets are in chaos like they have been for the last couple of years. So I'll wrap it up for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll actually put some links as well. If you've never really heard a lot about Options Animal, but you want to find out more, I'll put some links down below that you can register for a class that can go into a lot more detail about what it is that we do at Options Animal. So thanks for joining me again today. See you in a couple of days with a little bit more detailed analysis on what's going on in the markets. But for now, I want to start showing you this methodology that we do here at Options Animal. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you all in the next one.